I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. 5 seconds after my video processes and like refreshes and it says video has been uploaded, video is complete, the news drops that the first Bank of Alabama car driven by Sam Mayer has been disqualified from the Xfinity Series race at Talladega. The absolute worst thing to happen to a sporting team associated with Alabama this week. I'm looking at you, Crimson Tide. Oh, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. All right. But seriously, enough of laughing at Alabama. We've got all week to do that. They lost to Vanderbilt. But this has major playoff implications because Sam Mayer was the last guy in. He was the last guy currently in. Obviously, one more race until the elimination race at the Charlotte Roval. But Sam Mayer was sitting at plus 10 whole points above that cutoff line. And he's a good road racer. If you watch my last video, the Shane Van Gisbergen recap, I said, hey, for him, that's not a bad position because Sam Mayer's won at road courses before. He's, had a really good record at these road courses. So for him to be plus 10, that's not a bad position to be in. Well, spoke a little bit too soon because now Sam Mayer goes from plus 10 to minus 13, which is not a terrible gap, but you'd much rather be plus 10. Now, that does not just have an impact on Sam Mayer. That completely changes the elimination zone. Here's a picture of the elimination zone beforehand. Get yourself a good look at it. I'm not going to read it over again. If you want me to read it and break it down, go to my other video. I believe in you. But now the current bubble, we'll do a bubble breakdown on this, is the new one. Firstly, I said earlier that Chandler Smith, he could basically wreck lap 1 and he'd still make it because he has such a good gap. Well, now he is allowed to wreck on lap 1 because with Sam Mayer's disqualification, Chandler Smith has points-wise, advanced to the round of 8 in the Xfinity Series. It does not matter what he does. It does not matter what anyone else does. Chandler Smith is through to the next round because he has scored enough points and he has a big enough gap on everyone else. Cole Custer is now plus 37 along with Austin Hill. They're feeling really good now versus pretty good just about an hour ago. Sheldon Creed is plus 32. He's feeling pretty good as well. Jesse Love plus 22. That's a nice, decent gap. Herbst is plus 20, which is also a nice, decent gap. Allmendinger is plus 7. Allmendinger goes from being in the minus 10 to plus 7. Massive jump for Allmendinger, going to one of his best tracks, a track that he has won at multiple times. Justin Allgaier is minus 7, so he remains in that minus elimination zone, but he gains 11 points on it. And it's the same story for Shane Van Gisbergen, who we thought was going to be minus 21 on Sam Mayer, a really good road course racer, but now it is minus 10. And then we go to Parker Kligerman, who is now minus 16. He was minus 26 before, and for me, I thought that was must win. Minus 16 is much more manageable for Kligerman. On the SVG side of things, for those of you who are watching for SVG, this is much more manageable. Minus 10 you can make up in one stage. Even if you and Allmendinger run 1-2 the majority of the day, that's not going to get you through. I mean, if you win the race, you're through. But 10 points is not impossible. 10 points, you're able to make that up. And with, just being brutally honest, with how AJ Allmendinger has performed on road courses this year, that's a very achievable goal for Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane Van Gisbergen, I know Allmendinger, this is still one of his best tracks. I still expect him to race for the win, but we've seen it this year that there have been some races where he hasn't been in contention for the win on the road courses. He's made mistakes. He's struggled at times. He still runs in the top 10. That's a struggle for Allmendinger, but if SVG can run top 3 all day and Allmendinger runs 6th to 10th, that'll be enough for SVG to make it up. So major news here in the NASCAR world. If you're wondering what the disqualification was for, I don't know why I took so long to tell you what the actual disqualification was for. Sam Mayer's car was disqualified because his ride height was too low. It's pretty straight up, pretty simple thing. It's a measurement. It's not a ball and strike call. It's not a gray area. It's a measurement. pretty easy to call. His car was too low, and they threw him out. So Sam Mayer goes from being plus 10. Now he is minus 13. AJ Allmendinger goes from being minus 10 to plus 7. Shane Van Gisbergen chops the lead in half, or chops the playoff bubble, chops the elimination margin in half without even completing a lap at the Roval. Play the song? But yes, that's all the news for tonight, I hope. I don't know. Maybe there will be more. But tomorrow we've got the NASCAR Cup Series at Talladega. There's supposed to be some trackhouse announcement in the morning. Might be related to Shane Van Gisbergen. I don't know. But if there is, I'll let you know. I'll be here for the Cup Series race tomorrow, letting you know what happens there. And then we got the Monday after on Monday. Should be a fun one.